going on, Jerome's? It feels weird that we even have to talk about this, but I mean, it's definitely a subject that's been bandied about amongst the fan base, right? Like in the stands, in the bars, all that stuff. Where Jonathan James McCarthy, so bit uneven at times, had some great moments, but consistency. It's been kind of rough, completing just over 50% of his passes, has eight picks this year, has interception in every single one of his start, 8 total touchdowns, a couple game-winning drives and heroics. It's great, but despite the last second drive against the Bears, there was some calls during the game when McCarthy literally couldn't hit a check down, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn on some throws. His wide receivers weren't helping him out either, 5 drops, but there was calls from the fans, even the J.J. McCarthy supporters, of, hey, let's see what Max Brosmer's got. The backup UDFA from University of New Hampshire, former Minnesota Golden Gopher as well. But I understand that the most popular guy in town is always the backup quarterback. But even though I'm a huge Brosmer supporter, I don't think it's going to happen, right? And O'Connell was even asked about it after the game. Kevin Seifert, ESPN, who's not Carl Gerbschmidt, is there, asking head coach Kevin O'Connell, is there a level of performance that J.J. McCarthy would need to get to for you to consider whether he should be replaced in a game? Kevin O'Connell, yeah, I'm not going to get into any of that right now. So there's always two ways to look at things. If you're pro McCarthy, you're just like, basically, that's Kevin O'Connell's way of saying that's a stupid question. He's nice Belichick. Belichick would just and then stared, But also, if you're anti-McCarthy, you'd be like, oh, he didn't say no. That's not a no. Aha. But, with McCarthy, like we said, it's been, you just want to see some modicum of consistency, right? Now, obviously, it's start number 5. Rome was not built in a day, and it's going to take some time. It just takes some time, little degree in the middle, but you got to see some progression. Again, start 5, you're going to have highs, you're going to have lows. There's been some highs, there's been some lows, right? But also, did this not happen week 1? The whole comeback against the Bears. Did this not happen against the Lions? A couple touchdowns early, the dagger to Jalen Speedy Naylor late. Yeah. Now, like I said, I'm a huge Max Brosmer supporter. I think that he can become the long-term quarterback too for the Minnesota Vikings. That's extremely important because ish does happen in the NFL. And Brosmer, Wes Phillips, Kevin McConnell have praised his preparation. He lives at TCO essentially, just grinding tape, doing whatever he can as a backup quarterback. And there's a reason why they've been comfortable with him as quarterback too, both when McCarthy had his high ankle sprain as well as now since Carson Wentz has been banged up with the shoulder. And Brosho, what's up, all right? So he's actually older, almost 2 years older than JJ. He's played a lot more college football than JJ. Yes, lower level at New Hampshire. You could even say the Gophers, but obviously he's been getting things done. Also, he was an All-American 2023, runner-up for the FCS Heisman, the Walter Payton Award, and the things that McCarthy has not been able to do well early on, just accuracy, getting rid of the ball. I mean, Brosmer has that in spades, right? And all the parallels talk about, well, McCarthy is Trey Lance, and then Brosmer is Brock Purdy, and then Wentz is Jimmy Garoppolo. We're not quite there yet, but also you could see some parallels between Brosmer and Purdy. Standalone does not have to mean that J.J. McCarthy is Trey Lance. I mean, you could have a good starting quarterback that you drafted high, as well as a supreme point guard distributor of the football, right? And this would actually be a more interesting conversation. And I don't think Kevin O'Connell would bench J.J. McCarthy, but if, say, Wentz is fully healthy, obviously Kevin O'Connell has a modicum of trust in Carson Wentz. Would he have benched McCarthy for Wentz mid-game in the Bears game? I know. It's a hypothetical that we'll never is Schrodinger's ginger. We'll never know, right? But no, I do believe that it really is sink or swim. All the chips are in with JJ McCarthy. And it's not that they don't believe in Brosmer, and whole conspiracy theories like, well, they didn't play Brosmer when Wentz is banged up because what if he looks good and then McCarthy has all that controversy. Nah, I don't think that was it, because I think ultimately what would happen, there's still be proof of life. I honestly think what would have happened is, say that they did bench McCarthy. Fully healthy, but they bench McCarthy in the middle of the Bears game. And then Brosmer comes in, and I still think Brosmer has talent, but also he's coming in off the bench cold, didn't have any first-team reps all season. That's the excuse for Shador, isn't it? Yeah. And say Brosmer looks bad, right? Then what do you do? Right? Do you go back to McCarthy, flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop? I don't know. I do believe there's a long-term plan with Brosmer. I do think that he's going to be an important part of this organization. But, of course, with McCarthy, like the number one thing the rest of the way is that, hey, surround him with everything that you could possibly need, and let's see the kid flourish. Let's see him learn on the job. Let's see him grow and show as a touch thrower, hitting everything underneath. We know that he can get the long ball. We know that he can be clutch. So let's see all these other soft skills. And I know we joke, Brosmer, America's quarterback. I get it. But no, all in with McCarthy. Because, again, did this not happen? I don't know, man. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. No, J.J. McCarthy is not getting benched for Max Brosmer. And also, I don't think there's going to be a soft benching. Let us know. Comment section, you guys, the best you know what to do. Skol, production value.